Most people get stuck when they try to change their habits or how they show up in the world because they're so focused on trying to change what they do instead of focusing on changing the thing that actually has the greatest impact on what we do. The number one thing that will help you change your habits is learning how to change how you think. And while I have taken courses on behavior change and what helps people actually change their behaviors, this is not just something I have learned or read about. Learning how to manage my own mind has been the single most impactful thing that has helped me improve almost every area of my life. It has helped me change my habits and break out of old patterns. It has helped me improve my relationship with myself. It's helped me strengthen my relationship with others and become more optimistic and become someone who actually leans into growth. Truly, your thoughts are such a main part of your day-to-day experience of what you do and how you feel and the outcomes you have in your life. And it is something I am so passionate about and so passionate about teaching because I know just how impactful it is. So let's get into it. Hi, and welcome to the next video of the Becoming 2.0 You series, a series that is dedicated to helping you have the habits and show up in the ways that you want to. So if that is something you're interested in, make sure to hit subscribe to get the notification for each week's new video. And if this is a series you want to follow along with, I highly recommend going back and checking out the first video of the series, where I help you get clear on what it is you want to prioritize and the specific actions that you are looking to be more consistent with. So let's break this down in a digestible way so you can start applying it today. If you want to change what you do, you also have to change your mind. So much of what we do throughout the day is driven by the automatic thoughts that are going through our mind, most of which we're not that aware of. But knowing this, knowing that our thoughts and our perspectives and our mindsets play such a role in what we do, we can leverage that to our advantage to help get ourselves to do the things that we want ourselves to. With more awareness of what's happening in your mind, you can stop letting automatic thoughts drive your behavior unconsciously. You can consciously choose more helpful, supportive thoughts, and you can adopt perspectives that better serve the person you want to be and the types of things you want to do. But in order to do that, we first need to be able to have more awareness of our thoughts and change our relationship with them. We need to be able to listen to our internal dialogue and not take our thoughts on as truth or fact or as just who we are. We don't need to identify with them. Really, our thoughts are such a neutral thing. They are just neural connections that we have picked up on through our lived experience. So much of the thoughts that go through our head have come from anything that we've ever seen or been told, anything that we have observed, any kind of content that we've consumed, any of our experiences, and any kind of messaging that we picked up from our culture. And on top of that, thoughts can become habitual. Some of the thoughts that you find floating through your head can simply be a habit. So instead of attaching meaning to our thoughts or identifying with them, we can view them as something so neutral and arbitrary, just as things randomly passing by. And then from that standpoint, it makes it so much easier to work with our thoughts and be able to question them, to ignore them or reframe them, instead of letting them be things that just automatically dictate how we think and feel throughout the day. It is such a useful life skill to learn how to start questioning your own thoughts and challenge them in a way, and just simply asking, is this true? Is this what I really think? Is this how I really feel? Does this thought benefit me? Is this a perspective I want to have? Because even if things feel so true and feel so true to us in that moment, we ultimately do have power over our minds. We get to change how we think. We can choose new thoughts. We can change our perspectives. We are able to let thoughts just go by without giving them any weight. Just as a random example, for some reason I have a distinct memory of going through the grocery store and my brain being like, I really want a cookie right now. And all I did was pause and ask, is that true? Do I really want a cookie right now? And when I tuned into my body, it was actually a no, that actually does not sound good right now. It was likely just a thought response I had to maybe feeling stressed and seeking comfort, or just because it sounded fun. And I really think one of the coolest parts of this, just mind management work in general, learning these skills, is that over time with repetition, you can change what more of your automatic thoughts tend to be. For example, years ago, I remember I would be scrambling off to college, and half the time I would forget something and I would have to turn around and go back to my apartment. And in those moments, I remember my thoughts were something like, this is so frustrating. Why am I like this? Why can't I just remember things? But now if I forget something and I have to turn around and go back home, my automatic thought, my automatic response is, wow, thank you, brain. Thank you so much for remembering, which is just so cool to be able to see that kind of a difference. And not that we can ever, I think, fully get rid of any kind of self-critical thoughts or any kind of doubt or any kind of stressful thought. I think that's just part of life and part of being human. But with this kind of work, you really can make that decline so much. And while you can use thought work in any area of your life, the purpose of today's video is really to go over how you can use your thoughts to help you take action on the things you want to get yourself to do, which is really all about paying more attention to your thoughts and then actively choosing thoughts that help you take action. So for example, let's say a goal of yours is to tidy up your kitchen every night before you go to bed, because you know it feels so good to wake up to a clean kitchen and it just makes you feel like you have your life together, and it just feels so good to be in a clean and organized space. So you're on the couch after eating dinner, and the automatic thought that pops up in your brain is, I don't really feel like cleaning the kitchen, maybe I just won't do it tonight, which would likely lead to you not cleaning up the kitchen tonight. But you can use your inner dialogue to get you to do that thing. So you could tell yourself something like, maybe I don't feel like it, but I know I will feel so good if I just do it. Or you could say something like, it'll only take 5 to 10 minutes and I can throw on a fun playlist while I do it. Or actually, I really want to keep my promise of showing up for myself in this way, so I'm just going to do it. Or as another example, maybe it's time for you to go to the gym and your automatic thought is, I don't really want to do it today, maybe I'll just do it tomorrow. And I think we all know how that pattern tends to play out. So you notice that thought, and then you can decide to choose a thought that will help you go to the gym. Maybe telling yourself something like, actually going to the gym and getting a workout in will feel so good. Or I can still go even if I don't feel like going. Or I'm going to go anyway because I want to be the type of person who goes consistently. And it can also be really helpful to pay attention to what our perspectives are around a certain thing, because they are the lens through which we view something, and they impact our relationship with it. So that changes how we feel about it and therefore our actions around it. For example, if you are trying to eat healthier, but your current perspectives are that eating healthy is bland and boring and restrictive and requires discipline, and it's just not something you enjoy doing, that is not conducive to you becoming someone who has healthy eating habits, especially sustainably, or in a way that you actually enjoy, which is what makes that feel so much less effortful. So you don't have to try to switch your perspectives to something on the other extreme of, I love healthy eating so much, it's my favorite thing. You really want to focus on changing your perspectives to ones that feel true to at least a part of you. And sometimes that's simply just shifting what your focus is. So maybe your perspective shifts to, I feel so good after I eat healthy. It feels good to take care of myself like this. I feel so much more energized when I eat like this. I love how I feel in my workouts when I eat healthier. So you want to notice what your perspectives are around the things that are involved in your goals or the habits that you want to change, and just notice. Are they conducive to those things, or would it be helpful to start changing your perspectives? So let's talk about how you can start implementing this today. Now, having more awareness of your thoughts and being able to see your thoughts through a lens of neutrality and being able to consciously choose new thoughts, those are all things that do take practice. They are skills we can cultivate. So here are a few things that can really help with this. The first is throughout the day, just notice your thoughts without making them mean anything. And you can do that as you just go about your day. But I also highly recommend setting aside 5 to 10 minutes and just journaling or meditating and really just observing whatever thoughts come up. Practice detaching from them and not seeing them as meaning anything, and really just viewing them as a third party. This really helps you practice detaching from your thoughts instead of automatically identifying with them. Number 2 is practicing paying more attention to your thoughts and then challenging them. So as you notice thoughts come up, start to ask yourself, is this true? Does this thought benefit me? Is this a perspective I want to have? Is this really how I feel about this? Does this align with how I want to show up? I am really such a huge fan of challenging your thoughts and really playing devil's advocate with them. And if you realize it's not a thought that serves you or that you want to keep, you can simply say delete in your brain, even if that feels really silly, and then just move on, or you can choose a more helpful thought, or the types of thoughts that you want to ingrain as more of your automatic way of thinking. Number 3, if you are following along with the Becoming 2.0 You series, or if you just have specific habits you're looking to change, then I highly recommend doing this work around those specific actions, really focusing on your thoughts around those actions and paying attention to, okay, what kind of thoughts help me actually do the thing, and what kind of thoughts tend to hold me back from doing the thing. And really making such a point to practice creating thoughts that help you take action, practicing choosing a new thought when the more unhelpful ones pop up. So for example, you can choose thoughts that help shift your focus to why you want to do the thing. You can choose thoughts that remind you of how you'll feel better after you do it, or maybe while you're doing it. You can choose thoughts that remind you of the type of person you want to be, or how you want to show up for yourself, or even how future you will be so glad that you did this thing. You can choose thoughts that simplify the action, like saying, it's only going to take 10 minutes. I can do that. And you can also reframe things to make them sound more enticing. For example, if your brain is like, ugh, I just really don't feel like going on this walk, you can say, well, actually, I love being outside and I'm really looking forward to listening to this podcast. This probably will take some experimentation and finding what kind of thoughts really help you, but that's the whole goal. The whole goal is you starting to find, okay, what thought can I shift to that helps me to do the thing? And the more you do this, I promise it will be such a game changer. And lastly, adding more novelty can really help us break out of our patterned and routined ways of being and really just support neuroplasticity, which is our brain's ability to change. So you can do this through anything that brings more change and newness into your life. You can change some of your routines. You can try moving your body in new ways. You can learn new things, go new places, try a new hobby, meet new people. The more a change in newness that you can introduce into your life can make it that much easier for you to change your patterned ways of thinking and doing things. So as you go about your day, just notice what your brain says around the habits that you're trying to change. Notice the stories, the assumptions, and the habits of your thoughts. And then practice being an active participant in choosing the thoughts that will help you show up in the ways that you want to. Now, there is so much more to working with your thoughts and your beliefs than I have covered in this video. So if you want to learn more about this topic and how to implement it more into your life, I highly recommend checking out my playlist, Work With Your Brain, or any video from that playlist. And if you are wanting to follow along with this series here, make sure to hit the subscribe button to get the notification for each week's new video, and of course, just to support the channel. Thanks so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.